What happens when fast attack craft meet billion-dollar warships? And could those small, agile boats actually change the calculus of naval power by exploiting speed, numbers, and surprise against far larger vessels? Do 700-kilometer missiles at sea represent Iran's latest dare to the U.S. Navy? And how would the deployment of such long-range anti-ship weapons reshape maritime deterrence and operational risk in key regions? Can this new Iranian boat strike targets before they see it coming, using stealth, electronic warfare, or rapid-fire missile systems to deliver surprise attacks that outpace traditional shipboard defenses? Is the Persian Gulf about to get a lot more dangerous, with accelerating weapon developments and more aggressive tactics raising the odds of miscalculation, rapid escalation, or deadly confrontations at sea? With the IRGC's new attack craft now unveiled, should U.S. naval forces be worried, and what changes in doctrine, deployment, and countermeasures might be necessary to counter this evolving asymmetric threat? 27 Rajab was unveiled in Tehran during the 90th night of popular gatherings at Islamic Engelab Square, a highly visible public reveal staged to send a political and military message to domestic and international audiences. The vessel features a trimaran hull design that enhances stability, speed, and maneuverability at sea, giving it a platform suited for high-speed approaches and more stable weapons launches in rough conditions. It is armed with 2 sea-launched cruise missiles capable of striking targets up to 700 kilometers away, a range that could put distant naval and littoral targets well beyond the immediate horizon at risk. The craft can operate effectively in sea conditions with waves reaching up to 3 meters in height, allowing it to maintain mission capability during moderately rough weather that would challenge less stable small craft. Its unveiling comes amid repeated U.S. claims that Iran's naval capabilities are weakening, a backdrop that Iranian authorities clearly intended to counter with a prominent public demonstration. Iran says the vessel demonstrates that its naval forces remain operational and continue to expand, using the new platform as tangible evidence of continued investment in maritime power projection. The country's navy maintains a regular presence in the strategically important Strait of Hormuz, a choke point whose control and contestation directly affect global energy shipping and regional security dynamics. Iranian officials argue that naval modernization efforts are continuing despite external pressure, framing new ship classes and weapons as proof of resilience against sanctions and military isolation. Military experts note that modern naval warfare increasingly relies on smaller, missile-armed vessels, which can exploit speed, swarm tactics, and literal familiarity to challenge larger warships and complicate conventional naval defenses. Fast attack craft can threaten larger warships through speed, precision weapons, and networked operations, allowing small boats to close rapidly, deliver high-speed strikes, and coordinate via sensors and data links to overwhelm bigger vessels' defenses. Iran considers the development of such vessels a key element of its maritime deterrence strategy, using numerous and agile craft to complicate an adversary's planning and raise the cost and risk of any naval intervention. For instance, the Haidar 110 is a high-speed combat craft designed for rapid strike missions, built to sprint into firing positions, launch missiles or rockets, and withdraw before larger ships can effectively respond. The Tariq class is used for coastal defense and fast-response maritime operations, patrolling littoral zones, escorting friendly traffic, and reacting quickly to perceived threats near the shoreline. The Ashura class serves as a versatile patrol and combat boat within the IRGC Navy, capable of surveillance, interdiction, and direct surface engagements depending on mission needs. The Zulfiqar class is equipped for missile strikes and offensive naval engagements, providing Iran with a platform to project power beyond visual range using standoff weapons. The Seraj class is known for its speed and suitability for swarm attack tactics, allowing multiple boats to coordinate massed assaults that can saturate point defenses of larger ships. The Zoljana class provides greater operational range and mission flexibility at sea, enabling longer patrols, extended presence missions, and the ability to operate farther from home ports. The Yamadi and Azarakh classes strengthen Iran's asymmetric warfare capabilities in regional waters, adding to a layered force mix intended to exploit geography and unconventional tactics against superior naval opponents. Iran's ally may have played a major behind-the-scenes role in the dramatic downing of a U.S. F-15 fighter jet in April 2026. A Chinese-made shoulder-launched missile was allegedly used to bring down the $90 million American fighter aircraft. An NBC News report alleged that China provided Iran with a long-range early warning radar system. That Chinese radar is reportedly capable of detecting stealth aircraft specifically designed to avoid enemy surveillance. Beyond missiles and radar systems, China may have also supplied Iran with stealth aircraft, according to NBC News. China allegedly moved the weapons to Iran during the early phase of Tehran's war with the US and Israel. Meanwhile, a US investigation is still underway into what exactly led to the downing of the F-15E Strike Eagle in April. It marked the first time in decades that an American fighter jet was reportedly brought down by enemy fire. When asked about the F-15 shootdown, China's embassy in the United States dismissed the claims as part of a smear campaign. The Chinese embassy said, and I quote, "China always acts prudently and responsibly on the export of military products, and exercises strict control in accordance with China's laws and regulations on export control and due international obligations. China opposes groundless smear and ill-intentioned association." End quote. Reports now suggest China's alleged helping hand to Iran could further complicate ties between Xi Jinping and Donald Trump. Trump's top diplomat has also insisted that America does not need China's help to bring the Iran war to an end. Earlier, Trump claimed Xi Jinping personally assured him that China would not supply weapons to Iran. Meanwhile, Trump's Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth stirred fresh controversy in Singapore on May 30th. Pete Hegseth urged America's Pacific allies to step up and shoulder more responsibility against China amid rising Taiwan tensions. China responded with a sharp rebuttal, urging the United States to pursue a stable and constructive relationship with Beijing instead.
The region will be far more stable and more secure when other allies and partners follow that path. We see this same realist mindset from the Philippines. Manila is shifting its focus to external defense and enhancing interoperability with U.S. forces. And it's not just talk. We're seeing a similar and critical shift in Tokyo. Japan is taking concrete steps to accelerate its defense transformation. Together, we are enhancing our force posture and investing in the right capabilities. We're not at the finish line yet, and there's still some heavy lifting ahead, but the momentum is headed in the right direction. We have high expectations of our Japanese allies, and together we can and must each pull our weight to strengthen the U.S.-Japan alliance. Strong, quiet, clear. Australia is stepping up. Together we are expanding the rotational presence of U.S. forces and collaborating to ensure our defense industrial base build and sustain weapons required for a high-end fight. We appreciate Australia's investment in real combat power and the commitment to integrate more deeply with the U.S. Joint Force. Mr. Koizumi, thank you for the question, for your friendship, for your engagement. I think our countries and our personal engagement is demonstrative of the kind of commitment the United States has to allies and partners. And we appreciate the extent to which you and your government have stepped up. And I think there's sort of two real ways when I look at how the world may view our commitment to this region. First is through our national defense strategy. And we very clearly listed 4 pillars. It was the homeland of the hemisphere, deterring China in the Indo-Pacific, burden sharing, and then supercharging our defense industrial base. Those were the 4. And I think too many people were focused on the fact that number 1 is homeland and hemisphere. For us, that was a reorientation toward a forgotten aspect of our defense strategy. Staying focused and bringing renewed energy to Southern Command, which had been kind of a sleepy backwater command and now is a warfighting command in our own home and hemisphere, was something we had to do institutionally. But if you look at our defense planning guidance or our national defense strategy, we are funding toward, exercising toward, and planning toward the most difficult problem set, which is power projection into this region and working with our allies and partners. So there's a refocus in what we do in our own neighborhood, but in understanding that a $1.5 trillion investment from cislunar to subsea is what's required in order to deter the next conflict. And then I think the second aspect is that people want to conflate that we have global obligations with turning of our backs to this region, and that's why I've made more trips here than anywhere else. and have met and will continue to meet with individual countries and in collective settings like this to demonstrate we are quietly but very strongly working by, with, and through allies based on our mutual commitments to strengthen our capabilities out here.
The stability of China-U.S. relations not only benefits the people of both countries, but also contributes to regional stability and world peace. The most important political consensus is the agreement to build a constructive, strategic, stable relationship between China and the U.S. President Xi Jinping clearly stated during his meeting with Trump that constructive strategic stability should be primarily cooperative and positively competitive. We also look forward to China and the U.S. working toward a common goal, implementing the consensus reached by the two heads of state and promoting the military relationship between the two countries in a healthy, stable, and sustainable direction. This is my brief response to Pete Hegseth's speech this morning. Let us now focus on It has evolved from the early nuclear terror balance to today's comprehensive security concept that includes the international order, armed control systems, and frontier technology. However, no matter how it changes, strategic stability has always been the cornerstone of security guarantees for all countries. Yet, it is currently facing challenges as a global nuclear conflict. The risk of global nuclear conflict is rising. In recent conflicts, parties have sent nuclear deterrence signals. In the past, the Palestine-Israel conflict, an Israel cabinet minister shockingly suggested using nuclear weapons in Gaza. This shows such threat of nuclear war is not remote. Third, the international armed control, disarmament, and non-proliferation regimes have been severely eroded. A series of nuclear armed control guardrails have collapsed. The two countries with the largest nuclear arsenals have entered a vacuum with no treaties, no verification, and no dialogue. Under the AUKUS Pact, Australia is developing nuclear-powered submarines. Japan is pushing to revise its pacifist constitution and the three non-nuclear principles and seeking to have allies deploy nuclear weapons on its soil. The risk of nuclear proliferation is increasing. At the same time, the militarization of emerging domains such as outer space, cyberspace, and AI is accelerating. The militarization of emerging technologies is challenging.